Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house. And today I've got the Spyderco Spydiechef with me. As usual, we're gonna analyze the look, the sound, and the feel of this guy. But first of all, let's just do a quick size comparison. This is up against your Benchmade 940-1. As you can see, handle size is quite similar, just a little bit more cutting power packed in that blade. This is your PM2. As you can see, longer handle, shorter edge. So that's your PM3. Look at that. This is, very similar handle size, but Spydiechef is packing much more edge, cutting edge. And this is up against your Spyderco the Paisan. Nirvana is still from Rasenti, but this is another one. And as you can see, this is your Sebenza 21. Very, very similar in size, a little bit bigger. This is like almost 3.5. This is 3.3 inches blade. So, and this is up against your ZT0562. So let's get started. So the Spydiechef, it's a great knife. It's very interesting. This is a special edition. It has been anodized, as you can see, by Bladeswelove, and it gives a nice little touch to the titanium scales on this knife. As well, this one sports titanium anodized screws, as you can see in blue, to give a nice pop of color on this otherwise just gray knife. This is a titanium frame lock. As you can see over here, Chris Reeve was the inventor of this kind of lock, and that's why it's called the Reeve Integral Locking Mechanism. This is an original design from Marcin Sliege. He's a Polish knife maker. It's like 15 years, I think, he's doing knives. He started with fixed blade. He's a great knife maker and designer. This is a frame lock. So very, very classic and solid kind of locking mechanism for the blade. This is done in Taiwan, in Taichung, as you can see from the billboarding over here. And it uses, T8 for the pivot screw and T6 for the handle screws. As you can see, this has a, pretty straightforward construction. Like open back, you've got these standoffs, just screws, 3 screws here for the handle, 1 for the pivot, pop them off, and boom, you're done. Very, very straightforward, super easy to disassemble and maintain. The pivot also is captive, which means you're not gonna need 2 sets of screwdrivers in order to disassemble this one, because this one, being not rounded shape, but as a D shape, it means that once it's in place, the frame prevents the pivot to rotate. So you just need to unscrew from this side and you're good to go. As you can see, the lanyard hole over here, it's as a, as a barrel. Very interesting construction over here. So for all you lanyard fans, you're gonna be happy with this one. It is ambidextrous, which means you can use you can move the clip from this side to this side. Just unscrew this screw over here, pop the clip off, and you just install on the other side. So it's a nice addition if you're a lefty. And as well, the pocket clip, it's nice. It's a wire pocket clip. As you can see, it's deep carry, up to you, not full deep carry, but it's not gonna stick out too much from your pocket. It has a nice spring tension with a clip ramp as well. A little bit lower than the actual clip, but still pretty nice and functional. Blade is perfectly centered, as you can see, and overall the construction it's very nice. The design, I appreciate this design very much in the closed position. As you can see, this line over here, It's beautifully rounded off, the tip right there. You cannot touch it with your finger, so nicely designed. I appreciate when the blade hits, you know, the line and like merge into the line of the frame. So right here, I really appreciate this detail over here. Let's have a look at the blade, because this is the main attraction of this knife. Probably you're gonna get this one because of this. This is LC200N. This is a pretty nice steel. It has been developed by NASA because of the high corrosion resistant feature that it has, because it's nitrogen based, and it's beautifully resistant to the corrosion. That's why they call it Spydiechef. It means you can like confidently use this guy in the kitchen, not be worried of it, you know, starting to rust. So very, very specific purpose, and but I mean, you can use it, of course, in any other occasion, because it's extremely tough, but the corrosion resistance is it's just phenomenal. As you can see, the profile, it's very, very broad. Like the blade is super tall. The stock is quite thin. You can see, you know, it has a full flat grind right over here. There's no swedge, okay? The plunge grind runs parallel to the end of the handle, and you've got like a nice tip over here, and I mean, really cool sharpening choil over here. There's no thumb ramp, no jimping up top, but the profile of this, guys, is it's incredible. This is a true slicer. The stock is not the thinnest, but it's thin enough to slice like a boss. Look how thin behind the edge this blade is. Look at that. I mean, like, this is incredible. It's like, for example, if you compare it to the Paisan, which is quite thin behind the edge, it's not as thin. Look at that. So, and this is not a full flat grind. So the slicing power of this one, it's just gonna be incredible. This edge, it's pretty perfectly symmetrical, and you know, of course you've got your nice Spidey hole here. You can use it, you know, with your thumb, with your it's gonna be tough with your middle finger, but you can still do it. But of course, it's gonna be perfect for your thumb. There's some billboarding going on the blade. Like on this side, you've got your steel, you've got your logo, you've got on the other side the brand, the logo of the maker, and the factory location. So quite some things going on. Not too obtrusive, I would say, but you know, a little bit distracting. Something that you're gonna notice is the absence of a lock face steel insert. And this is my only gripe that I have with this knife, because as you can see, this is a titanium frame lock. So you have titanium rubbing up against your steel. So, you know, this can develop some lock stick over time. In fact, this one has a little bit of lock stick. And if you use some Sharpie on the contact surface, it's you're gonna get rid of that. So not a big deal, but just something to consider if you're thinking to use this for a prolonged time. Let's hear some noises, because this is a interesting noise. You see, it's very solid and very silent when you close it. It's beautiful, snappy, and silent. So if you open with two hands, this is the sound it makes. When you unlock it, and if there's no lock stick, it's going to be pretty silent, and just almost nothing when it closes. If you flick it open, that's the noise it makes. It's a nice thwack. Oops, sorry. It's nice. It gives you like that confidence and that It's beautiful. I really like it. This, of course, is, it's called Spydiechef because its natural environment would be a kitchen. And I mean, just look at the design. You have like a full belly going on over here, and you have the handle, which is going up this way. All right. Like if you take, for example, your PM2, all right, you clearly can see that this handle is going up and this is just going like horizontally. So which means that the surface that you're gonna be able to use this knife, you see, it's gonna be like, on a cutting board, and your hand being in this position will allow you to use more edge on the board compared, for example, to this one. Because in this one, as you can see, that's the natural position, and you're going to be able to use more of the tip of this one. Whereas on this guy, you have almost all the edge available for your cutting task. So beautifully designed for the kitchen, keeping in mind, a chef need. So you like to chop veggies or whatever. The handle is pretty well designed. It really falls into place. You've got you have no finger grooves, but being designed like this, it just your hand just wraps naturally around it. So beautiful. I truly love it. There are no sharp edges because the handle has been chamfered all around, as you can see. It's of course, just titanium. There's no inlays, so it's a little bit on the slippery side, I would say, but nothing too crazy. Fit and finish is good. It's solidly built. Nothing to say. It's like titanium frame lock, so the weight is gonna be great. It's light, but at the same time, it feels solid. It doesn't feel cheap. If you want, you can reverse grip, I think, yeah. And you see, you're going to have a little bit of guard, not too much because it just goes up. So it's not going to prevent your hand to, sliding that way. But still, it offers you a little bit of, let's say, protection. You can just comfortably place your thumb on the back right here. And but just bear in mind that there's no jimping whatsoever, like nowhere. Like here on the spine, it's pretty smooth. The edges are chamfered a tiny bit. They're not sharp, but they're not rounded. So keep that in mind, because you can't. I mean, it's slippery, but nothing dangerous, because the handle design, it's gonna keep your knife in place. So very, very good handling feeling you get from this knife. Of course, tip up carry, and I imagine like a chef just keeping this in his shirt pocket easily, and just whenever he needs that, just taking that out and just using it. So the feeling when you open this one, it's lovely, guys, because this is running on bearings, and you can flick it like that. It's tough with your, you still can do it. You have to jam your nail like on the other side, but being, occupy this area by the lock, it's gonna be tough. So you have just to do something like this, and then, you're gonna be able to do the Spidey flick, but usually you're gonna just do, your thumb flick or, two-hand opening action kind of thing. As I was saying, super smooth. Like the washers here are doing an incredible job. It's like, I don't want to say this, but yeah, it's on like Sebenza territory. I mean, the Sebenza is, I would say, superior. This is glass on glass, guys. It's very different, but for a washer, running on washer knife, it's super, super smooth. I really enjoy opening, even with two hands, because you enjoy, you know, the friction created between the washers and the blade and the scales. It's a pleasant feeling. Very, very, very good. The detent is a little bit on the light side. You can probably shake it open like that, but you know, it's okay. It's nothing like dangerous. It's not gonna open in your pocket, but it's on the light side. There's no rattling when you shake the knife, so it's everything stays in place. So very, very good job. What I really love is, I mean, the thinness of this guy. This is beautifully thin. Like, for example, look at this. This is your PM3. PM3 is thicker. And this is a Paisan, which is a thin one, and it's a little bit thicker. Look at this. A tiny, tiny bit thicker, because it just goes like this way. So beautifully, you know, EDC-able knife. I love it. When you close it, there's no, you know, blade play side to side, up and down, vertical. It's very good. There's no detent ball ramp, so you're gonna have this feeling when you close the blade of the, you know, that detent ball right there, just doing this. So it's you know, of course, like detent ball ramp are welcome. In this case, you don't have any, but it's not gonna like ruin your experience, your feeling of, and you know, it's gonna prevent you to enjoy this blade. When you unlock the knife, it falls. The blade just falls like that. Just, you know, push the lock side, the lock bar, blade just falls down, but it doesn't, there's no guillotine effect. You have just to wiggle a little bit and it's gonna just close. So very, very good action in closing and opening, even if it's on washers. There's a little bit of suction, like magnetic effect when you close the blade, like this, just a little bit, nothing too crazy. But overall, guys, this is just a beautiful piece, like to add to your kitchen, as well as your EDC knife. This was my review for the Spyderco Spydiechef. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.